we go. Good afternoon, connoisseurs of fine common cardboard, and welcome to today's Let's Build in this live stream where I've got my good friend Clay here, my co-host, my man at arms. This is what it's all about. And I just want to thank everybody for your patience. I got off work late today, came like a bat out of hell to make sure we get this hotness to you. Today, Clay is challenging me with something he's got up his sleeve. I do believe we have a mono blue mystery deck today. So Clay, lead us in. Juice us up. Oh, wait. Do we have, hold on, your audio. Let me get your audio. One sec. We got to make sure we got your audio. There we go. Check, check, check. Testes, testes. Nope, we are not getting any. Just hold on one sec. Hold on one sec.
Enough to know.
There we go. Check, check. There we go. Boom,
yeah,
boom, boom. Testing,
it's
testing,
funny.
testes.
You know exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yep. We were just ventriloquisting for you while you were muted. So, anyways, Clay, here we are. Let's do it. So lube us up. Show us what we're doing today. What's happening?
So no doubt, girl, this is what I was doing, right? I was hanging out, and I was sitting there. So I was actually listening to a fellow group of content creators because I like to keep up on the biz, right? So, and then one of our dear friends, flickering. Oh, yep. One of our dear friends mentioned this one thing, and I was like, you know, when you're like sitting on the toilet or in the shower, and you're like, it's a great idea. So let me continue massaging this a little bit, right? So, all the talk lately of what do you think it is? All of this talk lately about tournament results and things that are being played, things are not being played.
What's good, what's bad?
What's good, what's bad, exploration, that sort of thing. Now, I will suggest that not every commander can be uber competitive. Yeah. And in my teaser, I did say this was fringe, but if there's one thing that Ryan excels at, it's taking those little dainty baubles of fringeness and honing and sharpening against steel and making the rhythmic sword of the night. Whoa, PG, right? Okay. So to that end, I was building this myself, and I was just looking. I was like, okay. This is Clay's version, and kind of loop all this together, right? So, I bring something to the table whenever I play a deck. You bring something to the table when you play a deck. What does that look like in this competitive environment? How are we defining? And that's what we do.
Yep.
How are we defining? How are we working in the dojo, bringing that high kick, right?
Absolutely.
How are we exercising it, bring it out to the people, so that way we can, Cobra Kai never die. Don't demonetize me.
We got demonetized when I showed a single clip of the You Are Already Dead Japanese anime, I think it is. We got demonetized for like, what was it? It was like maybe 28 seconds or something like that. But regardless, yeah. So yeah, you and I have a different approach. A lot of times it comes together though. Like for example, like on Crackling Drake, like we found ourselves at this place that over a lot of years of like testing it, playing it, really running it through the gauntlet, our builds started to kind of coalesce. And really by the end, the only difference was that you like Faithless Looting and I don't. That was like one of the only like places where there was like disagreement. So I'm excited about this. And ultimately, like for a lot of you who watch our series and enjoy our content, what's up, Alex? Good to see you. You know that like the point of this Let's Build series is to bring in people who think differently. And this is exactly what makes this content really fun for me, for one thing, but I think it also increases the richness and the robustness of the work that we actually end up producing. So like the last Let's Build we did, we had Gollum, right? And when we got like halfway or even 2/3 through the video, Derek was like, we need to start from scratch and try this. And we did it.
Mm.
I've been running it through games. I'm 1-2 with the deck. And one of them was like I got focused down by a lot of people. It was like a blood frenzy cast on a 13 or it was a 15 power trampling beanstalk giant. So it was like I was about to kill the table. It felt really powerful. It felt really good. And that's because we brought in somebody who thinks differently, right? Who, was like, this doesn't need to be a generically good mono black deck full of like generically good spells. Like this is something that we can build around, right? So I'm stoked about this. Like I want to know what this is.
Let's
I'm all
revisit the
juiced.
clues. So let's
What are the
revisit
clues?
the
Yeah,
clues.
hit this.
So on Reddit, I said something to the effect of acting like madmen, right? So that was Scarecrow was the one that predicted Laboratory Maniac. So I would say that he was going in the right direction, just on the wrong side of it. Okay. And then I responded in Reddit again about this being a classic. It was classic. Now,
Okay.
not necessarily the commander, but the ability is classic.
Oh.
And then the third clue, that I gave, and the third clue that I gave in our supporter comments, which was probably the most targeted hint that I gave, perks of being on the inside.
That's right.
I posted an image of Mystic Sanctuary. Now, people are going to say mono blue, that's a shoe-in. But when you start thinking about, what's something that Ryan would like? Ryan loves one-drop commanders. Right? Mono blue, classic ability with a land.
Is it Delver of Secrets?
Nope. Are you ready?
Hit me with it, baby. Let's go.
Ruin Crab.
Chad, we're milling. Oh, Alcadron is going to be so happy.
So I was listening to the PDH pod, and Alc just made some off comment about, playing in a meta and trying this and trying different things. And, yes, very timely. So Alc is like talking about, expressing himself within a meta the way that he wanted to express himself. And Alc is very much Dave is very much focused on the way it feels when he plays it, but I would venture to say that some of his intuition is not. I mean, I'm looking at it from a strategy perspective. He's looking at it from a feels good perspective, but I think his intuition might be there. Now, I'm not sure if we are going to be able to mill everybody out without a combo.
Interesting.
Right? I'm not sure. Oh, Zendikar like 238 is the spicy version.
Oh, the Zendikar 238. We gotta see. The thing is, chat, is it's important to recognize that when you're spending less than $50 on a deck, you damn well better be playing the nice version of it. So we're gonna switch printing to Zendikar Rising because that shit is so cool. It's so cool. I love it. Why does everything from Zendikar look so awesome? So
it's so great.
The beauty of this is that while the Peregrine Drake combo is generic, it's well loved, it's like commonly used. If you use the Peregrine Drake to make infinite mana, you can use Ghostly Flicker to flicker a land. So
you have a built-in land drop combo that has a land drop in it. Yes. Now in the list that I put in Deprive or what's the other one?
Capsize or Deep Analysis.
Displace.
Yeah.
I put in Displace, which does not target a land, but
it makes infinite mana.
But it makes infinite mana.
So if we have a Capsize, then we just
Secret Door.
Secret Door. There's all sorts of ways. I love this idea. Now, chat, this is in principle really, really appealing for a reason that is similar to What other famous, successful deck out there? Why do we like this commander in the command zone? And I'm going to give you all a second, okay? What deck has been doing really, really well, and what contributes to its success? And I'm going to wait for at least 3 answers, okay? I don't know. Maybe we'll be waiting a long time. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. We got 4 watching now, so if all 3 answered.
Why is this? What about this commander here is so similar to another really powerful deck out there, and why is it so good? What is another? We can give you. Should I give a color combination? Do I need to be this specific, or should I?
Yeah.
Should I drag it out? It's Simic. It's a Simic deck. It's a good Simic deck. And why is what makes it's blue? Well, there's that similarity. Yep. So Simic. It is a Simic deck that has a commander that has been winning a lot lately. It's a very good deck. What contributes to its success? So Tatyova, also a good guess. But Tatyova doesn't have as much in common with this. Think about the creature itself. What about this creature? Consider its characteristics. Gretchen. That's it. Okay. Gretchen plays its commander on turn 2 almost every single game. And you know what a 0/4 does? It eats like 15 damage over the course of a game. Yeah, what do you need as a combo deck? You need time. What do we do in this deck? We slam this bastard on turn 1 every single game, right? We start doing the thing right away.
So with that, what is the very first land that you should add to this deck?
Well, there's Mystic Sanctuary.
What? Yep.
What's
the
good?
second? What's the second
Depths?
land? This one, I'm a little surprised, Ryan. A 1-drop commander.
Oh, it's tapped, right? Yeah, you want to be able to play it. Well,
how do you weaponize a 1-drop commander?
Springleaf Drum? No, hold out. No, we only have one color. 1-drop command. Lotus Petal?
Opal
Palace.
Ooh. Yes, sir.
Ooh. Oh, we're gonna make the chattest crab ever. Oh God. And we're gonna be casting Curfew. Oh God. Okay, this is great. Opal Palace. We could have Study Hall even. These are all great cards. Okay, cool. Let's throw. Well, you know, it's funny. Usually I don't start with the lands, but it seems only appropriate that this landfall commander.
Landfall.
Yeah, we can do that. One sec. There's chat. Sorry, folks. The chat wasn't coming up here on the screen. So there it is. Regular basic lands. So yeah, we've got these ones here. Ruin Crab. Okay, so there's a couple of like patterns here, and somebody asked me a couple days ago, like, how do you think about decks? It was actually Wales. Wales and I were sitting in chat, or in the Discord, talking about his Battlecry Goblin deck, and he was asking me, so like, how do you parse out like what you put in decks, and like, do you think about packages of things that go together? And I actually, and I've talked about this only once on live stream, but I spent a year living in Costa Rica, and I was doing homesteading, permaculture, rural sustainability stuff for a year in the jungle. And one of the things that we used in every element of our work is this book called The Pattern Language. And if you get a chance to take a look at it, it's called The Pattern Language is the second book, but the first one is called The Timeless Art of Building. And it's about a PhD guy and his PhD students who went around the world documenting architectural solutions and then categorizing them in patterns that worked together, basically things that have positive feedback loops. And this concept of the pattern language, which is invented by this guy, ends up being this thing that in my life I use for everything from like deck building to like how I organize my space to how I organize my my warehouse that I manage. And the pattern language is going to lead us to include certain packages of things when we're doing certain other things, right? So one of the first things I heard you mention was Secret Door. So then we've got Trinket Mage, And then we've got, you know, this, that, and the other thing, all these different ever-flowing chalice, perhaps, right? So I kind of want to start there because we've got this payoff that's basically doing the same thing as Ruin Crab. It's just a big butt. It's just a big butt. You play it early, and it eats damage, and then it eventually
Yep.
acts as an infinite combo, right? So Secret Door is a great card. This is one that's like kind of a mainstay combo. It's also a card I play in Rilsa Rail because it's just a huge mana sink and a big butt. So this is a good one. We're going to do Trinket Mage here as well to get that in there. Let's throw in Everflowing Chalice. This is a card that I really like as a card that kind of guarantees that you're going to do really big mana stuff. If you cast a Peregrine Drake with this out, you're essentially converting colorless mana into blue mana, which is really nice. And so this is a really big mana thing that we can tutor with Trinket Mage. You know, in this deck, we could even play Springleaf Drum. I really like the idea of doing that because Springleaf Drum is one of the best artifact, like mana rocks that we have available to us. What about Moonsnare Prototype? Yep, let's do that. This is also can be a removal spell, although I have never actually cast it as a removal spell, and I put this in a lot of decks. So let's throw this into Ramp. Springleaf Drum into Ramp. Everflowing Chalice into Ramp. And this is also Trinket Mage targets, but we'll make that category later on. Okay, so Secret Door.
Speaking of more, you said removal for Prototype. What about 1-drop colorless, bounce a creature?
Oh, Aether Spellbomb.
Aether Spellbomb.
The best removal spell in the format. I'm really kidding. I really am poking fun at the terms best these days, but this card does see a lot of play. It's very good. It gets around a lot of forms of protection. And yeah,
it's one of the few forms of removal that will hold the table hostage.
It really will. Yeah, like if you all don't remember the CBB 100, the budget commander tournament where Puzzle Box took Gretchen Titchwillow and won with it. That Aether Spellbomb held this Winota hostage for like a lot of turns. Like, and it wasn't just them, but nobody was willing to break it. And so these onboard effects have this tendency to say like, I don't want to be the one who spends the resources to have to redeploy my thing into this stupid answer, right? So yeah, exactly. Alex Scott says, yeah, it has psychological damage attached. Yeah, and it's actually like it makes people big stupid because they just let it sit there and then they don't swing at the person, especially if you're like a Voltron player and somebody plays this. Like, it sucks. It feels so bad. You basically can't develop your game plan on your commander until this thing goes away. So these things, when it comes out really early, it's a really good sign that you've got a good chance of winning. So Aether Spellbomb is great. There's other cards that sometimes people don't play too, like Seal of Removal, which is kind of an interesting one too that I want to check out. This is a card that I feel like this is the same thing as Aether Spellbomb, except it's not tutorable and it doesn't draw a card, right? And it's blue, so you can go pro blue on it, but it actually is like functioning in much the same way. It's not as good, but it's something we could consider as well if we wanted to go down that route. Another one is Curfew, and Curfew has gone down in value because edicts are, in my experience, and look, I was probably one of the first people in CPDH maxing out on edicts. I was like, this was just the thing I did with Witherbloom Apprentice and with almost every deck I was building that had black in it, was maxing out on edicts because all the creatures that were in play were important. They all needed to die. And this like, you know, massive 1-for-3 kind of effect, playing these over and over again, recycling them was really strong. Edicts have gotten worse because some of the decks that we're seeing a lot of, like TPI, Abdel, like you don't want to cast this against Abdel. It doesn't feel good. Them picking up their Abdel, it sucks. Or if they don't want to pick up their Abdel, they just pick up a token, right? TPI, they just pick up a token, or you know, and then you also have like gut decks. It doesn't matter. They can pick up their gut, or they can pick up any other little stuff. There's a bunch of other decks where this just doesn't matter anymore. But what we can use this for is, in a pinch, it will be good to get rid of something that we need to have gone, like a Dargo, for example. But when we cast our Peregrine Drake and somebody goes to kill it on the stack with the Ghostly Flicker, we can always curfew this thing back to cast it again and try to start the loop over again. So it's
Mm.
actually a way to reuse our stuff. It can reuse our trinket mage to find the secret door if we need to. We have a couple comments. Scooby Drew says, also not an artifact, so less likely to be dealt with Seal of Removal. So for Abdel, Gut, TPI, then why not use Echoing Ruin? Can also hit Dargo treasures.
Echoing Truth.
Oh yeah, so you're thinking of Echoing Truth. Yep, we're definitely
Yeah, it's that's a staple, that staple card around these.
There's actually there's not a lot of
Some
of these.
Some people believe in Jesus. We believe in the Echoing Truth,
and we also believe in Boomerang. Okay, and if you're playing Boomerang and you don't have the Rebecca Guai foil, get good, because that's hot. This is real nice. I just picked one of these up. They're only like $7. It's not too bad. But Boomerang, Echoing Truth, these are staple removal spells in blue, and I don't often use that terminology because I think every deck should be examined in the light of what it does. But these things are catch-all answers to problematic permanents of all kinds. And Echoing Truth hits so much shit that we care about right now. Is there a Pestilence ruining your day? Is there an Oubliette ruining your day? Is there a Dargo ruining your day? I mean, just like, is there TPI tokens, Abdel tokens? Like, it just go down the list. Gut tokens. Echoing Truth deals with all of it. It's a really, really powerful spell. Boomerang is in here for a similar reason, except that the devastating effect is limited to mainly one player, and that is usually any player trying to load up a land with something, and we have a way to stop it. So those two are great. Okay, so we've got a smattering different things here. Let's just throw the Peregrine Drake combo in here because this is obviously what we're doing. So we're here to do Ghostly.
So what's interesting, and I think that you'll agree here. So when I threw this is actually the moment when in my deck building process, because I built a list last week, where I actually started thinking about you from more of a control perspective. I believe that in this deck, that the Drake combo will actually function secondary to the Archaeomancer effects, actually giving you more control elements back to your hand. Like that's their primary purpose, is to get those removal pieces, those control pieces back to hand, so that way you can extend the game. And then, if you pop off with the combo, great. If you don't, then you're using Archaeomancer to buy another turn to be able to pop off with the mill.
Yep,
so like this is where I started thinking about you. Is in this moment.
Yeah, this is
sorry. I'm buying 2 Rebecca Guay foils right now.
Attaboy. That's how we get it done around here. I think this is a great way to look at it, and in some ways we can take some inspiration from what Neuarch has accomplished with his big blue strategies that I think to a large degree have he's actually backed off of a lot of them because he doesn't believe that the meta is right for it. I am of the mind that the meta is dynamic enough that I'm usually just comfortable running something back over and over and over again, just because I know that the meta is this fickle thing, that
it's spongy.
It's always changing. It's always changing. One sec, I just want to get the filters right on this chroma key. There we go. We want that to tuck in nicely there so everybody can see that. It's squishy, it's spongy, it's dynamic, it's constantly changing. And so I think actually you're almost better off just running your deck that you think is good, that's built to tackle a meta, and just going to the haters. You just play what you think is good. Now Neuarch actively thinks that it's not the right choice right now, so it's not to criticize that, but I actually think it's still great. Big blue still looks really, really good in combo metas, because all the combo players are keeping each other in check, and you're just focusing on getting a lot of cards. And by the time you want to go off, you have so much mana and you have so many resources. You should watch some of these old videos of Neuarch where he goes off with a combo. People stop him and he just goes, okay. And then he rebuys it with an Archaeomancer, and he tries again, and he gets stopped. He goes, okay. And he gets it back. He clears the mind, puts it back into the deck, tutors for his cards, does it again. He's fire, reload, fire on this shit so hard because he's playing the biggest draw spells. He's playing all this ramp. Like he's just like, and he has all these like chonky blockers, like stupid shit, like Ruin Crab, right? Like 1 mana 0/5. You know, or sorry, a Riptide Turtle is what I'm thinking of when I think of
Yep.
like these derpy things. It's like, what does this even do? But it's like in mono blue in this format, you don't have a way to gain life, right? This is what we've got to do. So um, I like this approach. We've got these Archaeomancers here. What other Archaeomancers do we have? Return,
So
graveyard, hand type creature. And this has got to be, we got Archaeomender, Pneumatic Wall. That was the one I
Mimnotic
was
Wall.
missing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we actually have a Repository Scab as well. But this one needs lots of creatures in play to get going. Anything else here that we like?
Did you see it? It's staring at us.
Scare Tiller.
Yeah.
What do you? Oh, because do we mill ourselves?
No. But
But we could.
the Maestro lands.
Oh yeah, for sure. We could do something like that for sure. Calvin Bell, welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. Alex Scott says we need graveyard hate if we're milling everyone. Don't want a combo deck to play Archaeomancer and get their combo back from the graveyard. Indeed. So I think that because there will be room in this deck for maybe we do like Tormod's Crypt and Honored Heirloom or something like that. We could do Relic. The only problem is that we're putting such a volume of cards into people's graveyard that Relic is like, I don't personally like playing Relic in decks where my graveyard is important. That's a thing that's kind of that I go by. And the nice thing is that we can still tutor for Tormod's Crypt with Trinket Mage. So, Scooby Drew says Scare Tiller with the Springleaf Drum. Not just the Springleaf Drum, but the Moonsnare prototype. That's pretty spicy.
And the two tapped lands that Holdout Settlement and
Survivor's Encampment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, that's quite interesting. So we'll put this one in considering for the time being. We'll see if we can find space for it. So we've got our Archaeomancers here. There's also the Halo Scab.
Yeah, Halo Charge Scab.
Yeah, this one, which so
each player.
That's pretty sweet. One of the cool things about Halo Charge Scab in decks that can abuse it is that this becomes a win con. If you have more cards in your library than everybody else, you just say, hey, how many cards do you have in your library? How many, and then if you've got more, you just flicker this thing with Peregrine Drake over and over and over again. Let's see. Looks like I lost your video there, Clay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay.
We'll keep going on. But Halo Charge Scab, if this could be paired with some sort of ETB draw effect, then we could flicker this and a draw. So once we make infinite mana, we could get the flicker back over and over. So that's actually not that good. So Halo Charge Scab could go in there. It's another way to get a spell back. It does mill a little bit, which is fine, and it's a 4/4. I mean, that's kind of one of the things I like about this the most. It's just a 4/4. It's big, So let's throw it in there. This may be something we cut later on, but I'm interested to test it out because having a 6th Archaeomancer is kind of hot. So cool,
especially with all the potential control pieces that you could put in here.
Yeah. Okay, so what other mono blue stuff are we doing? What are some other? So do we just like start throwing in the this is actually a deck that kind of wants lands in a sense more than it does rocks, right? So search,
so like 36
land. So what I was thinking with that is just like there's some of these effects that allow you to get lands, and then we could do brokers.
But you want them entering the battlefield, right?
Yes, that's right. So there's one in particular that I'm thinking of. So we definitely play Expedition Map. The one that I'm thinking of is Navigation Orb. Right. This one, it's pretty slow because it's like 3 to play, 2 to crack it. So you're getting like a 5 mana. This is a 5 mana Kodama's
5
Reach.
mana. Yeah, 5 mana mill 6. Well, no. 5 mana mill 18.
Oh shit. Oh, you're thinking of the mill. Oh. Yeah. Got it. Okay. No, that definitely makes sense now. So I think we do want that.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay. So yeah, we've got these here too because they're double triggering. Okay. Okay. So we actually do want some of these like kind of like we're a monocolored deck, so it feels weird to play these. But what about this one?
So
That's
this
like
one
pretty
right
sick.
here, is one of those. So earlier with your sentiment about Big Blue, you
Yeah.
would have to play Big Blue to play Dreamscape Artist.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like the kind of card that you have to discard a card to do it. Um, I don't hate it. Let's try it out and see if we have space for it.
Mhm.
You're right. We would have to play Big Blue to support that. I don't think we want to go too much deeper into this janky stuff like Terminal Moraine. Um, Traveler's Amulet is pretty cheap. There's actually a duplicate effect. Huh. Didn't realize that had been copied. This one actually puts it onto the battlefield.
Yep.
That's nice. So we could go turn one Ruin Crab, turn two this and maybe something else, and then turn three crack it to put it onto the battlefield. I quite like
Hmm.
that. It's a shame this one is. It's a shame this card is not actually legal. Um,
Is it alchemy? Is that what that is?
well, it's uncommon.
Oh,
So the common printing of it is in a set that does not determine our rarity, which is these remastered.
ah,
Um,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
so it's like something online basically. Not MTGO is what we're saying. The new Caplands with Scaretiller. Yep, so we've got those. We've got the Expanse, the Obscura Storefront, the Maestros Theater. There's three of those. Evolving Wilds, Broker's Hideout, and then, and I think those are the main ones. So we really do want to just hit our land drops, right? That's like the most important thing.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Um, let's see what other stuff. Let's see what other land type creature. Let's see what comes up if we look for creatures that do stuff with lands. Ooh, I like Aether Snipe a lot. This is a cool card because Aether Snipe is just a big body that can be used to bounce a non-land permanent, but it can be a combo payoff. So if we flicker and we make infinite mana, then we can actually
Hmm.
flicker Aether Snipe to put most of the things back. We can't put the lands back, unfortunately. I actually thought this was any permanent, but it's not.
Yeah.
Um,
A boomerang with legs. Yeah.
yeah, I thought that's what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's not.
Alex, we just talked about Dreamscape Artist.
Yep, we just threw that
Uh,
one in. That one's in. Cloud of Fairy seems. Is this actually? So we need to cast High Tide, just High Tide to make this work, right? I think we do. I think we play this. Um, what else do we have here? This one makes Island Walk. So the idea is to try and make ourselves exceptionally hard to kill.
yes.
Is part of the vibe, right? While we build up this combo. Tap target land. Fathom Seer is an interesting one. This is Gush.
Return to islands. Oh, speaking of Gush.
Yeah, this is a Gush on a creature. Um, I mean, it's worse in some ways, but
Hmm.
it's also a body, which I kind of like. Um, is there anything sticker related that if we flickered a sticker creature, that we would be able to go?
I don't know.
Would you be down to look into that? Just look at the stickers and see if there's anything that we could put onto any of our creatures that would change their nature
How
in
do
in
I
positive
even?
ways. So you go type sticker, I think it is. Um, oh my gosh, some of these landfall creatures could be pretty funny. You're like put like three lands into play in one turn, and this thing is an 8/8. It's kind of gross. Um, but I don't think that's what we're doing. So, um, man, some of these old cards like this, like 4 mana Island Home. If defending player controls no islands, then this can't attack. If they control no islands, bury this creature. If you control no islands, bury this creature. And then you can sack your island to turn a land into an island. Oh my god, it's
Mm.
so bad.
So
It's
there's one sticker that has landfall, and it's a +1/+1 counter.
That's it. Is there
That's it.
anything that would allow us to like draw our deck if we flickered it, like an ETB? Any stickers that would have like an ETB?
Okay.
And then we
Interest.
have Ouroboros Breeze Caller. That doesn't do anything for us. Peregrine Drake. I actually think Scaretiller is going to go in the deck.
Okay, so there's okay. So there's two stickers. One says when this permanent leaves the battlefield, draw a card, and the other one
Oh,
says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, this permanent deals 2 damage to target player.
I mean, that's rather interesting.
So
Because the thing that I'm thinking of is that we have Prize Wall, which is this 2 mana 0/4 defender that can make stickers for us. It's kind of expensive to do so, but then there's
it's for
also
5.
yeah, it's 5 mana to actually put the stickers on a permanent. Um, so, but it is a card that we can tutor with Defender. We can get it with Shield Wall, and the better version of it is actually the Glitter Flinger, the Glitter Flitter. Glitter Flitter
Mm-hmm.
is the 3 mana 2/2 flying. So if at any point we go infinite, well, actually, if at any point we go infinite, it would have to be Displace for
Mm,
us to not be able to combo and win, right?
correct.
So if it's Displace, then we do want to have some way to win, and that might be Glitter Flitter. But see, the thing is like how many stickers are actually good? Because
Hmm.
I usually just 2. Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
not good
mean
enough.
that say enters that have an enters
We'll put it in considering,
clause.
but we need like a pretty good odds of like getting the sticker that we want. If we had like 3 or 4 of them that were like all game winning, then that would be cool. But I sense that there would be a lot of like mismatching there where you just don't have the right
Yeah,
the right
yeah.
thing. This is kind of interesting. Return a land to your hand. Target creature you control gains Shroud. I don't know that we want that. Shroud isn't going to work for us. Um,
Do we want to pay 2 to loot?
where was that?
Right there, top. Yep. Sword
Oh,
Tommy. Yep.
Sortami Cloud Skater. Probably not. It's pretty expensive. 2 mana and bounce a land to draw a card. I
Yeah.
guess if we make infinite mana, the way this looks is you return every island to your hand, um, and you just draw cards until you find what you need, right? Golden Leaf asks, how many counters do y'all plan on running? Probably somewhere in the order of 8-ish, maybe 10. Depends. I think that's my intuition there. Oh, here's a Ticketomaton, which is a colorless way to get stickers. Tolarian Terror. Yeah, we could play Tolarian Terror.
Or
Although
title terror.
Title Terror, we're definitely playing. Tolarian Terror is a little bit weird in the sense that, like, we're not really a Spellslinger deck. And that's
Mm.
where Title Terror is best. Title Terror is good when it's like a 2 mana or a 1 mana 5/5 with Ward 2. Obviously, 3 mana is still good too, even 4 mana. But we're definitely playing Title Terror. This card is absolutely insane. Um, what else do we have here? Jeez. Yeah. These landfall ones where you just like
Yeah,
blue landfall.
mostly they're either switchers or flyers or something like that. Nothing really, you know, spicy.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
green landfall at least gets like +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so let's start organizing some of these as well. We've got creatures, we've got tutors. The reason we put down tutors is because, of course, these also tutor up Mystic Sanctuary. We're going to have creatures here. Aether Snipe is also going to become removal. We're going to have Scaretiller under creatures. This is also going to go under ramp.
Hmm.
And then we're going to have Trinket Mage under creatures. Trinket Mage is also a tutor. And then we're going to have Philology Archaeologist, which is also going to go under draw. Although there's a part of me that worries a little bit about the fact that we have so many like we have so many there's a lot of ways that this can put stuff in the graveyard that we don't want to be in the graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That one might go into considering for the time being. We can come back to it. Dreamscape Artist is going to be under creatures as well as ramp. Secret Door, creatures. This is going to be a payoff. And then Cloud of Fairies, which is a creature. This is going to be a... we're going to call them untappers, and then we're going to put the Peregrine Drake in there too. This is not an Archaeomancer. What you doing in there? You don't do that. You don't do both of those things. Come on. Okay, good. Cool. So we're at 36. We need to have lands too. So let's just do, what do you think, 35 lands?
36.
36? Okay, so...
Because you care about...
Yeah.
You care about lands.
27 islands. We're just going to do this for the time being. We're going to diversify these islands here into some other stuff as well. Although this is actually, like, if you were to just run this right now, this would be perfectly fine because tap lands, we don't want to go too overboard on them. So what are some other good... I might need to pick up another list here.
What do you, like we mentioned Gush earlier, what about the blue spells, the classic blue spells that pick up a land? So Gush, Deprive.
Yeah, I like those for sure. I was just gonna, before we got into the counter spells and everything, I just wanted to go and look at like good blue stuff. And this is one place to do that, is under Murmuring Mystic. Hard Evidence is great. You can't flicker it. Oh, but you know what we can do is we're definitely going to play Seagate Oracle. Because Seagate Oracle is another one of these cards where, like, it just being in play, you get to find one of two cards. It's got a nice butt, and then if you combo off and you have nothing and you have Displace, you can always turn your infinite mana to combo off with Seagate Oracle and just find whatever you need. Right.
Yep.
So this is that's nice to have cards that operate. I'm a big fan of cards in combo decks that operate as just like a value piece, but then they're a combo piece later on.
Yep. And a blocker.
And a blocker, exactly. They keep us alive. Bodies that draw cards are really good, chat. Okay, so we got that one. What else do we have here? Meeting of Minds probably is as close as you can get to a staple too. The reason being that Meeting of Minds is 3 mana instant speed divination if you just have your commander out. And what are we going to do every game? We're going to play our commander out on 1. And so if this is ever 2 mana, it's above the curve. But it's just a great draw spell. So that one there. Oh, and we can convoke and tap the Scare Tiller. That's pretty fucking cool. I like it. So what are there actually... And we don't want to be like hyper focused on Scare Tiller. It's just one card. But what other convoke cards do we have? Temporal Cleansing is fine. Don't know if that's exactly what we want to be doing in this deck. Other ones are not worth playing, I don't think. But we got Treasure Cruise, Ponder Preordain. We could probably include like the classics. And you know what? Brainstorm is actually... Brainstorm is good here too. Ooh, Pondering Mage is a cool one. This is a card that I haven't found a home for yet, but it's one that I always want to play. And it is just ponder on a creature. So it's like a big Seagate Oracle. And look, it's a 5 mana 3/4.
It's a flicker target.
It's a payoff. Yeah. And it's a 3/4. This thing is huge. It's big. Alex Scott says Meeting of Minds is the new one. Yep, that's right. So Pondering Mage, we're going to play that. I love that in this deck. And then we're going to do Preordain. So we're going to get that one in here. Brainstorm is actually surprisingly good here because of our shuffle lands. I don't often play Brainstorm in decks because it's just not what it is in 60 card. But we have 1, 2... I mean, Halimar Depths can actually shuffle things around too, which is kind of funny. 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, just here, 6, 7, 8 ways to shuffle here, 9, 10 if you clear it off the top, 11 because you can shuffle. 12 with Seagate Oracle.
Trinket Mage
Trinket
shuffles.
Mage 13. Yeah, we have 14, 15. Yeah, we have tons of ways to use this.
Slide that expedition map into tutors for
Yes,
me.
sir. Where we got that one? Where's it? Where's it lurking?
There it is, down
There
the
it
bottom
is.
on the right.
Tutors. There we go. And then Wayfarer's Bauble is going to go into ramp, navigation orb, ramp. Okay. 71 cards. We have all the lands, so we have 28 slots left.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our Ponder, Preordained, Brainstorm. We're probably going to go consider an
switch the when you get that in there.
Yeah.
Switch the type and tags to just types. Let's see how many creatures we have.
We can see down here 18.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
That one's kind of tucked away behind the chat thing, but which actually would be a good thing for me to fix at some point. Have to note that one for later.
$24.54.
Good Lord. And that's with the spicy version of this. Is that right? Oh, this one's only 76 cents. But this is with a spicy printing of Boomerang. So even though I love that printing, we can always go back. There's another really good printing, which is the Richard Kane Ferguson Mirage printing is also awesome. And that one's
$18.21.
Yeah, this is a budget deck. I love it. We're going to do Treasure Cruise.
So kind of like to put a pin in that.
Yeah.
To talk to that directly. So that's one thing that we have yet to try to push. Like CEDH, the bigger competitive format, they've been pushing a budget version of their format for a long time. Now I know that seems kind of like weird to think of in context of what we're doing here.
Right.
I mean, Pauper decks, $80 to $100, yeah, $80 to $100 is usually what mine's are. My decks are. That's because I run Snowlands. I know I'm a bastard. I get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, here's Murmuring Mystic. We got $50 there. The most expensive CPDH deck I have is y'all are getting a look into the madness here, by the way. Last updated. Okay, so if we go to Third Path Iconoclast is the most expensive one I have, and that one is 107. But there's a couple of copies here that are like more expensive versions of them. I think it's the Treasure Cruise, maybe the Thoughtcast, probably not. I think this is just an expensive deck. Like these are all budget because this is the bro stuff. But the thing that's expensive about it is the Snowlands. Some of these are a little more expensive.
Yeah, the old border.
It's like $90.
But yeah, like just kind of like none of my decks, even when I update to cheapest, are
50.
ever, are ever 18 or $25. Never.
I will say there's a couple of these new ones that we've done on the live stream that are really cheap. The new Golem deck that I just built with Derek came out to be $40, and that's with the most expensive commander printing. So if you go back and you switch this, you can get one for $3 as well. So that makes it a $37 deck. Trellisar Moon Dancer is another one, super cheap, $25, sub 25. And then even more so, Conclave Mentor is disgustingly cheap, sub 10. And Derek and I were talking about it. This deck absolutely, dude, it punches like a freight train. This when you do stuff like you go Enduring Bond Warden, or if you go like turn 1 Battlefield Raptor, turn 2 Conclave Mentor, turn 3 Experiment 1 into Enduring Bond Warden into Code Spell Cleric, you put like 15 power on the battlefield on turn 3. It's super gross. We've got a bunch of comments here. We got GOG Sandwich. Welcome to the chat. Haha, and CDH budget will still run you a few $100. That's right. Yeah. Yep. CDH budget can't even come close to touching what you get in CPDH with a non-budget.
You could have a whole battle box.
Yeah, I mean, like if we just took the top sample of one, I think Satyr Enchanter might be mid-price, like 50. Wow, it's only 34. So 34, 35. So that's 70, 80, 90, 100. So for $100, you could buy the top 4 decks that I've worked on in the last week. And these decks all do work. Even Rilsa Rail Kingpin is $50. Levon Sword Coast Sailors probably middling price. Yeah, $38. I've usually say that the average CPDH deck is $50. I think that's a fair estimate there. A couple other comments. We got Scooby Drew saying, no, it makes sense on the budget thing. If I'm playing a game that isn't playing CPDH and they drop a Lotus Petal or Snuff Out, my mind goes, oh, we are playing at that level, which is silly. Yeah, and the funny thing is, though, is a Lotus Petal is like limited use case in CPDH. There are decks that can use it. Dargo decks get a lot of benefit because it's just a Malcolm treasure, basically.
Knack decks.
Knack decks like it. There's a couple of turbo decks like the Tormod Rograk and Deskit that play it. And then
like 1% of 1%.
Yeah, very, very small. Now Snuff Out sees play in almost every deck, and it's fluctuates between like 5 and 10 cards. But
back to the build.
Yeah, back to the build here. We got some good draw spells. So we got the update, the opt, the consider. We could do hard evidence, ponder, preordain, sleight of hand, research. We can't do winged words. I like Academy Wall though. Academy Wall is great. This is
just for the double draw.
Yeah, this card is so strong. This is like very close to Blue Staple 2. It's 3 mana, 0/5 defender. It's tutorable with Shield Wall Sentinel. It's a huge butt, and it repeatedly triggers during people's turns and your turn to loot, which is really good. And so I tend to put it in a lot of decks. This is also a draw spell. Let's go back and look here. We got Academy Wall. We'll look into Bonder's Ornament. We can check that out. Keep Watch. What do you think about the big draw spells that punish people attacking? So you played Theft of Dreams on me in the CPDH Sanctuary Open, and you drew 6 cards off of my TPI, which I was happy to let you do. That was great. There's also Borrowing 100,000 Arrows. There's Keep Watch. These are huge draw spells in the right pod, and they do absolutely nothing in the wrong pod. But generally speaking, there's somebody swinging, right?
Well, to that end, it's for that reason that I prefer the 3 mana ones, the sorcery speed ones, because if I'm gonna at the rate, right, I'm looking for two creatures or better. So
which is pretty reliable,
right? So I tend towards the sorcery speed ones. I know you like the instant speed ones because you're usually the one attacking, so you can leverage both halves of that.
I'm enabling it myself. Yeah. Okay.
How many wizards do we have for Distant Melody?
That's a good question. 6 currently. Probably not good enough. Alex Scott says, I don't see Mole Drifter, and you are right, and we are definitely going to include Molly D. Mole Drifter, another card that serves that kind of like draw 3, or it's, like payoff.
Divination.
Yep. Scooby says, speaking of budget, EV Shine keeps trying to do a PDH build challenge where it keeps getting cheaper and cheaper. The challenge is now an $8 deck. Yeah, I think I have a couple of decks that would meet that. Even Oxida Finisher used to be like an $8 deck. Okay, now we're only looking here at this particular deck, but we can pull some inspiration from these counter spells. So I think the classic ones, we actually could play Abjure. That's really funny. We could play Abjure because of our commander. For those of you who don't know, Abjure is sack a blue permanent, counter target spell for 1 mana. That's one of the better counter spells in the right deck. And I think here, where we just have this Ruin Crab, if Abjure means we combo off and go infinite, then we can cast this as many times as we want, right? So I think that's a really good, a good card for the deck. Counter spells. And then
nice little synergy. Say it with me.
Yeah, I like
synergy.
It. Synergy. We're gonna do Arcane Denial. I like that card a lot. This is a great card. We're gonna play. We have enough permanents in play that I think Dispersal Shield is going to be pretty reliable.
Oh yeah.
This is one of my favorite counter spells.
At least 3, right?
Yeah, right. If this is at least 3, then it's like better than Prohibit. And so, but it's frequently a lot more. It's frequently like countering 4 mana or even 5 mana spells. If we have Peregrine Drake in play, then Dispersal Shield is going to do work when we're comboing. We've also got we could do
Have a regular counter
Deprive,
spell.
counterspell. Yeah, we want all those. Deprive, counterspell, logic knot. Where'd they go? There we go. Counterspell is here. That's going to go into counterspells there. And then,
Ooh, Days, Return an Island.
so I don't usually play Days in decks that don't have Ward. Um, and the reason being is that it's very swingy.
Yeah, I never find the great
Yeah.
opportunity to have that got 'em moment.
Yeah,
That's it's just I don't have Days luck.
no, and I think that it's not to say that they don't turn up, but your odds are going to be 50-50 as to whether somebody is even mana or odd mana.
Hmm.
Um, and so, or whether they're tapped out or whether there's one up. I know that there's uses for it. I would be much more inclined to play Spell Pierce if I wanted to do that. Where
Well,
Ward is really
Deprive
devastating
does.
is different decks, like Sailor's Bane. It's gross.
Well, Deprive does the thing we want to
We
do.
want Deprive. Yeah, we're definitely doing Deprive. Yeah, this is a great spell for the deck. Muddle the Mixture is going to play in here, Negate as well. So I think that'll be all of our counter spells.
How many is that?
That's going to put us a little bit over our budget, I think. No, it's right at it, actually. It's going to put us at 9, which is kind of right where we were talking about for counter spells.
Yep. Well, you said 8 to 10, so
that's right on point there. Now we can actually play a couple more if we want to, and that's Intervene and Confound. These are two cards that I really like these days. If you think about it, like if you're just playing around Gretchen, Intervene and Confound both allow you to counter a spell that targets one or more basically it targets a creature. So the decks that are doing really, really well right now, almost all of them involve targeting their creatures, right? If it's Abdel with a Ghostly Flicker, if it's Freed from the Real, even the more esoteric stuff like Presence of Gond,
mm,
or it doesn't stop your first day of class combo. But that's not one that we see a whole lot of, so I'm okay not preparing for that. But these cards are really good. One of them is just a counter spell that hits most things and
mm-hmm.
protects our things while drawing a card, and it's splashable. But the other one is just 1 mana. So I
Yep.
really like these as spells. Um,
Nice. Well, Scooby brought up the for the Days argument. If you're tapped out, then people tend to play more greedily into your tapped out lands. So
that's true.
you're creating more of an opportunity by tapping out and daring them, double daring them.
Hmm. I think that the I can be very honest about my not willingness to play Days, in that I really dislike that feeling of having dead cards in my hand.
Mm.
That right there is like among the peak things that I hate in this game, is having
Oh,
cards in hand that don't work.
I'll say this. Okay, so on the scale of risk versus reward, Ryan is near the conservative end where he
Oh
wants to
yeah,
guarantee some outcome.
dude, I'm
Clay
about
is
that
more,
3% annual
yeah,
return.
yeah. Clay is more towards the
Yes.
the 2/3, and then you have those people like on the very end that are all risk, right?
Yep.
So, yeah,
I'm
I'm.
like grandfather time, man. I'm like your 70-year-old grandpa who's like, "Have you invested in your have you withdrawn your dividends yet? Make sure to invest in gold." I'm basically that when it comes to Magic. I like my cards to work always. I like
Mhm,
slow, grindy game plans. I like reliability. I like modality in my spells,
mhm,
and so Days is kind of like just very, very swingy. And yeah, you completely demolish people with Days when it works. Like, let's accept that for sure. And when
mhm.
you have Mystic Sanctuary in play, it feels really good. So, it's not to say that it's not worth playing. It's just that it's not how I like to build decks. And ultimately, something that actually plays in really well to the conversation we were having on Discord and on Twitter, it's been happening there too, just talking about this language about best and bad and different play styles and different approaches to building decks, and like, what should you play? The answer being, of course, the deck that you like, because it's a game. But when we're talking about how we build our decks, you can kind of set the standard for how people are going to interact with you based on what you play in your deck, right? So people are going to respond different to you over time based on how you play your deck. So
Mhm.
if I know that somebody is into that daze, spell pierce kind of stuff, I'm going to take the soonest possibility to like punish them for that, right? To use those opportunities if they're there, if they're my target, and if they need to be interact with, right? Whereas somebody with me knows that I don't play a lot of those free spells, so they're going to punish me when I'm tapped out fully, right? So
Mm.
whatever cards you play, people are going to learn to play around that. Is what I'm saying. It's not
Mm.
wrong to play Daze or Spell Pierce. It's just that you got to know when you're going to get punished for it.
Yeah.
So
I have another relevant example for that. If you ever see me cast Buccaneers Bravado, please call the cops.
somebody has skin stolen Clay if he ever casts a double strike spell. You know that the skin stealers are here when Clay casts either Uncaged Fury or Buccaneers Bravado. Something has gone terribly wrong. Clay does not do that. This is not Clay.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh
yeah.
man.
So we'll add days to considering is what
Yep.
we're saying.
Yep. Days will be in considering for sure. Um, so some of the cards I was looking at here is I actually think another way that we can play this that'll be really powerful is to have cards like Air Cold Elemental. Big chonky body. It can be flickered to bounce thing. It's got flying. This one's a little expensive, so we might be able to find something a bit better. There's Aven Surveyor. There's also a lot of 3-mana ones that do a great job of this that I'm just not finding just yet. We got Displaced, Drag Under. Oh, we need the creature. Oh, Ifara's Dispersal is pretty cool too. This is a card that I'm really interested in right now. 1 mana, bounce a
Surveil.
creature, Surveil 2. Yeah, I've got this in Sailor's Bane now because it does so many things that we like. And because we're a pretty defensive deck, people will try to attack us. So I kind of like it. Force Away is such a cool card in Sailor's Bane. Like 2 mana, bounce something, loot.
Oh, ferocious. Yeah.
Yeah, Ferocious is tight. Okay, what else do we have here? Gale Strike. Isn't there a... If you control a creature with flying, no. What's the card I'm thinking of? Just the Wind, Keymaster Rogue, Launch. If you
Oh,
control
what
an
does it
artifact
do?
creature. It's... I'm basically looking for the creatures. So what I actually want to do here is do creature. Because I really just want the creatures that we can flicker. So, yeah, there's... If you control Wizard, that's 4 mana, 3/2.
So in your search terms, you just put type creature,
Return O creature.
enters, enters.
I didn't
Oh,
do
enters.
enters. I just did O creature, O return, O creature, type creature.
So do enters then.
Oh, enters, that could do it too. Also, Shrieking Drake. Huh. Okay.
You control. Yeah.
Oh, I did the weird semicolon thing. Okay. They've got to be further down. There's a 4 mana return target creature. Man of War is also a classic. All of these are must abilities, and there's a couple that are maze, and it's Winter Eladrin is a great one. This is a May ability. So if there's nothing in play, you're not forced to bounce your own thing. And they're wizards, which is kind of cool. This one's God. I wish this was a 3-mana spell. 3-mana 1/4 that bounced a creature would be hype. Return target tapped creature. That's weird.
Oh, what's the mana cost of that Storm Sculptor? I know it's not a May, but it can't be
4,
blocked.
but it says you control. This bounces one
Yeah.
of our spells. Yeah.
Poopy.
You know, this is actually a pretty cool spell. This should be in Rilsa. This is the same thing as Keymaster Rogue, except that it's the same thing as Keymaster Rogue. It's actually the same card.
functional
What?
functional reprint.
Somebody tag Praxia Mogamesh. We have another card. He loves this card. I haven't found room for it in Rilsa, but he plays it a lot, and that's pretty sweet. Can't be blocked, huh? Anyways,
Is the other one a wizard as well?
yeah, one's a wizard, one's a rogue. So technically,
Ah,
this one's better in Rilsa because it's a human rogue. So it triggers Prowl, and it also scries off of Path of Ancestry. Um,
mm.
yeah, Man of War is pretty good here though. Door Smasher 7, what's up? Hey guys, just got here with which commander are we brewing? We are working on Ruin Crab. This is
Whoop.
Clay's idea for this Let's Brew here, and it is turning out to be a heater. So we don't want to go too wild on
Too
this
deep, yeah.
effect. I think we can have a couple.
Well, what do you want in terms of
We have our
creature
combo.
count?
We have 24 currently, which is fantastic for a combo deck. But we
Hmm.
need more draw spells. And so we have 8 slots left. We have all of our counter spells. We don't have that much removal. So we need more
Okay.
removal. We have all the counter spells we need. We need more draw. And we have 8 slots. So let's focus
Okay.
on the draw spells. We could do. Um, oh, you know what? There's a CMC equals 5 draw. Um, draw 03. This one's a landfall draw card. And it is a whirlpool looking thing. Yeah, Mysteries of the Deep. It's a 5 mana draw 3. At instance, we can trigger at instant speed with some of our spells, but mostly it's going to be sorcery speed. I'm not sure
Mm.
if that makes it. Unexplained Visions, though, this is the real deal. 5 mana, scry
Oh,
3,
adamant.
draw
Oh
3.
my God, yes.
Insane. This is like so good.
See 6 cards for 5 mana.
Crazy. Yeah. I love this card. Um, Vivisection, do we have any proliferation type stuff that we're doing? It's just
Outside of
Everflowing Chalice, right?
and Opal Palace.
Yeah, an Opal Palace. Um, I don't know if that's good enough. The nice thing though is that when you're looking at Big Blue, a lot of Big Blue is just looking to have like big draw spells for 5 that draw 3. And so
Hmm.
this card is basically that with this like slight upside of potentially proliferating something important. And then in certain decks where they care about proliferate, this card is busted.
Yep.
Um, instant speed is nice. That's the only thing about these cards is a lot of a lot of them are sorceries. That's why I like this
Mm.
one is because we can do it at instant speed, which means we can hold up removal if we need to or counter spells, and then end of turn we can do stuff. Which is actually where Behold the Multiverse is a great card. I like the spell a lot. Let's take a look at other things we could have here. Secrets of the Golden City. Yep, that's the other one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
this
you
is a
go.
great one.
Let's see.
Draw 3 for 3 mana usually. Oh, is there anything about is there anything that draws? Oh, look at this Threshold.
Do you
That's
have
your graveyard though.
Deep Anal?
I do not. This is a card we want.
Yes.
And remember to always search for it this way. You don't need the Yissis. It's unnecessary. The algorithm understands that this right here works. So don't ever be caught searching the whole thing. What if you just go deep?
This.
What if you just go
Yeah.
deep? Oh, see, it still comes up first. This is a good sign.
Yes, don't be caught like this.
No,
Don't be caught deep.
no, don't do that. Deep Freeze is a really good card. Deep Freeze is actually, Merfolk Secret Keeper. This is kind of spicy.
Oh, the adventure cards.
Yeah. This one only mills 1 player, but it's got a big body. I think that what we're actually looking for is Sage's Row Denizen. Yeah, this one, whenever a blue creature enters the battlefield, target player mills. So this is a way to win the game.
Oh yeah, as a flicker outlet. Yep.
Although, are we better off just having things that we can find the things we win with as opposed to having this? Kind of seems like it, right? This feels like it does nothing until we're trying to win, right?
Right.
There are other cards though that do activated ability. How do you search for an activated ability?
I just usually do yeah. Oh, yeah. So Oracle, yeah.
No, we don't want it to tap. We don't want it to tap at all.
So do -O tap. Oh, okay, cool.
So like there's a particular one I'm thinking of that has a 7 mana draw 2 on it.
Oh, the Invoker?
That's the one. Yeah. Um mm,
I can't remember what the body on the Invoker is though.
It's a 2/2 or a 3/2 or a 2/3, something like that. Well, no. Chris says you can't really search activated abilities directly. You got to do all that extra stuff. I tried finding a way through Scryfall the other day. That's good to know. I'm sad that that's the case. I feel like that would be a really useful tool because sometimes we are explicitly looking for activated abilities. In fact, actually in CEDH, Mons from CEDH TV just did a video on Tazri.
Yeah.
The new Tazri, and it's got the activated abilities thing on it. Well, how do you? It's kind of hard to like search for all activated abilities. It's a 5-color commander too, so it's going to be like thousands of cards.
The way that I accomplish it, if I want to search for an activated ability in Scryfall or otherwise, that doesn't have a tap, so I do the -O, and then I do the curly brackets with the T, because that's how Scryfall recognizes it, and then I type O:, O:, quotes, and then put a colon space quotes again, and that gives me an activated ability without, because every activated ability has a colon in it.
So like that.
I can't see what you're typing. It's at the top.
Oh yeah, so it's O:, quote, colon, quote.
Hey Adam, buddy, how you doing?
Hey Adam.
Welcome to the fray.
Yeah, so my first live clan Papa sup Papa P sup guys. Shout out to you both. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Adam. Glad to have you here. Thanks for showing up and welcome to the connoisseurs.
Time to turn up and turn out.
Turn up. Boy, what am I even looking for? I wanted to search this clause and just see what came up.
Yeah, I think you were originally looking for Invoker.
That's the one. Third Path Savant. So it's a 2/3.
Oh, nice. That's not bad.
It's a lot of mana, and we're not getting ETB value out of it, so it's not a flicker target, so it's not as good, right?
Secret Door is better.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, like I would argue that any card like Tome Raider is better in this deck because we're just because if we have a flicker and we go infinite,
then you just got to flicker.
Right, exactly. Modern Age did kind of come to mind here because I like the body this is on. I like how much you do with it. This card is kind of wild. It's like looting twice and then making a 2/3 flyer. The looting, we don't really have a ton of ways to abuse that, but it's good card selection. God. Okay, let me tell you a little story about Wretched Griff, okay? All right, chat. Story time. I hate Tron with the fury of 1,000 suns. The Urza lands are a bad thing. Never should have been printed. The fact that Tower is better than Ancient Tomb and legal in Pauper hurts me on like a cellular spiritual level. And the only time I've ever touched Tron was when it was mono blue gone missing Tron. I know. Clay's just ready to just tilt me. Just tilt me off the planet and tell me you're a Tron enjoyer. And I don't even care about modern Tron.
This is why we get along.
Modern Tron is okay. All right, modern Tron is fine. It's like kind of slow even. You're like, haha, turn 4. Here's my Karn liberated, and they're like, and you're dead. It's like there's so many degenerate things happening in modern. It's in Pauper that it's not okay. So the only time I ever touched Tron was when I had a mono blue gone missing Tron where I would win with Wretched Griff. And the reason being was at the time, Affinity wasn't really around that much, so there weren't any Galvanic Blasts, and Lightning Bolt doesn't kill this thing. And so I would emerge this off of a Seagate Oracle and then just kill people with this 3/4 in the air while looping Gone Missing, which if you hit Tron on turn 3, you can Gone Missing and draw a card and put a land on top of people's library. So what you do is on the play, somebody goes land, and then they play a bounce land, and then you send the bounce land on top of their library. It's like the most salt-inducing thing ever, and the first time I did it, I never played the deck again because it crushed the person's spirit. It was like, it really injured them. But
I'm salivating.
I know.
I'm salivating right now.
It excited me at first, and then I felt really bad about it all. Whirlpool Rider is kind of cool. This is another way that we could potentially get our graveyard back, because you actually shuffle your graveyard.
Your hand from your hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't there another one that does that though? The shuffle.
I don't remember. This is like on the edge of my.
Comes into play, shuffle the cards from your hand into your library, then draw that many cards. So, like, is this a really good way to try and find? We're getting like potentially like a redraw of 5.
I mean, if you have that many cards in your hand.
Yeah.
So. What's up, Common Theory?
Common Theory, how's the pair? Interesting commander. Yeah, for sure.
How's the pair? I mean, is this what are we talking about?
We can actually change this now. We need to do, and the name
Crab of Ruin.
Crab people.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. Oh, Stream of Thought. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this card.
That's is a great card. It's also a combo card too.
Yep, that's right. This card is really cool because it's allowing us to get our things back, but it's also like very hard to deal with. You just replicate it like 10,000 times, and yeah. And now we've got crabs, as Chris says, the gift that keeps on giving. Calvin says if that's what you need.
Yeah. I'm itchy all over.
I'm itchy all over again. Yeah.
Steamed crabs, yes.
Steamed crabs. And actually, isn't there so type creature, mill. There's other ones. There's Iceberg Cancerix.
Deals combat damage to a player. Mill a card, add. Okay. Mill.
Iceberg Cancerix is the one we want.
Oh, snow permanent. So you need to play snow lands.
That's kind of miserable for our awesomely budget deck, but it is what it is. We might need to play that card.
It's target player, right?
Yeah. Is Rune Crab each?
Yes.
Oh, thank the Lord. Okay, yes. Good. This is kind of funny.
That's why it's so good.
Fastest Devour, your casual 2/6 that mills, and if you had this as a flicker target, then you can mill the table. That's kind of funny. Okay, cool. So we found the Cancerix. Chris Lively says, just write snow on your islands and say it's off season. Give this man a cookie for being so goddamn funny. So 101 cards. Surprisingly, we're not actually like that much above like our budget. This is a payoff. But it's also kind of a It's kind of like an Archaeomancer in a weird way. Oh, you know what we don't have though is any tutors. So Drift of Phantasm.
What are we tutoring? Combo pieces?
Ghostly Flicker.
Yep.
Yep. Drift of Phantasms is going to be under tutors. And then I think we definitely want the Cancerix.
Well, you put Cloud of Fairies in the deck. Did we
High
put
Tide.
Yep.
And we need Dizzy Spell probably as well. And we probably need Merchant Scroll.
Mm-hmm.
And these are going to go under tutors. And this is going to go, this is going to be, man, I always have a hard time like where to put cards in the Flicker combo because a lot of times they have like interlocking functions.
Well, that's great, right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want. Yeah, totally. Now, is Expedition Map really that good here? Because, like
I mean,
it gets some fine stuff, but Sanctuary isn't actually part of our combo, is it?
It is the Ghostly Flicker. Oh no, because we can't.
Because it's on top. If we have something that draws, we can. So if we go Mystic Sanctuary, if we have Mystic Sanctuary, a Seagate Oracle, a Mole Drifter, a Pondering Mage, any of those in play, and we'll probably want some more of those. Then if we flicker, then we can get it back over and over again. Yeah, we actually do. We can combo that way. So Adam says,
Lens of Clarity.
Interesting.
I don't think I've ever played that.
But do you guys use the Pauper top, Lens of Clarity with Fetches, Brainstorm, Shuffle effects for quality draw? You know, I never have. It's interesting. It's tutorable with Trinket Mage. The thing is that building around the Brainstorm, I mean, I guess there's the Fetches is one thing, but with the Fetches, we're almost all like Fetches are different in this format, right? They're always going to be tapped. And so like in Legacy, for example, you'd be able to abuse this more clearly because your Fetches, or even any format where they come into play untapped, because whether you bring them into play now or during your turn doesn't impact whether you get the mana that next turn. But in ours,
if I had better ways to shuffle.
Yeah. Is this a deck for ants? He says. That's right. Yeah, we've got what is this? A deck for ants? Yeah. The other one, actually, this is kind of in a similar vein of like information, is a card that I really like. Glasses of Urza. This is a card that yeah, I know it's hard on the digital devices. Magic is kind of a bitch when it comes to like viewing on small screens and stuff. There's really like no way to make it better. It's unfortunate, but maybe with like, I've even watched people play like Arena on my phone, and it's like really hard. If you've ever tried to play Arena on your phone too, it's pretty hard. But Glasses of Urza is awesome. This card is super cool. You play it out, EOT, you look at somebody's hand, and then you look at the other person's hand, and if they're both clear, then you're clear for takeoff, right? You're like pretty good odds of getting through. And this is a card that I think, like, I almost brought this with me when I was playing TPI this tournament. But I actually don't play Trinket Mage in TPI. So it's just kind of like a one-of card. And the other thing is I kind of figured I knew what the decks were. I knew that there was going to be Gretchen. I knew that there was going to be Gut. There wasn't a whole lot of mystery to that. So I was kind of like, I knew there would be like Dargo related stuff, probably Malcolm or Breaches, one of the two. So I didn't really feel like I needed the information, but Glasses of Urza is really sick. I mean, Glasses of Urza is also this incredible political tool. Like, Clay, what do you think about, like, if somebody's sitting there with Glasses of Urza at the table and they're like, isn't that just an enormous bargaining chip? You just get to like tell people, you get to like play the table super hard.
So you're you're referring to a play style that is not of my own.
Yeah.
So I'm a make you have it kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so the information I I try to like play as best I can based on the information that's available
Yeah.
to me. So I don't know. For me, it's just something that I'm not.
I think it
This
fits into
doesn't.
that too, doesn't it though? Because
Yeah,
if you say like, okay, two of these are clear and I'm going to make this person have it, or I know
yeah,
this person has a kill spell, I have two counter spells, I can deploy
yeah,
this with mana. It does fit into that. I guess I'm thinking about like in a mid-range deck or some sort of control deck, this becomes a tool where you can be like, well, I can tell you for a fact they have Ghostly Flicker in hand.
yep.
That's pretty like intense to be able to just um like just
Well, and
give away the barn.
in the sanctuary tournament that just happened, was it 2 weeks ago now at the
Yeah.
time of this recording? I played a Gataxian probe, and as they showed their cards, I read every card out loud.
And you know what? If
Oh
that
yeah, you
person,
remember? Yeah, you wrote it down. That's
yeah,
right.
absolutely. In fact, I have it right here. I have it right here on this page where I wrote down the cards that were there. But like moreover, as a political tool, if you're able to like confirm to the table that somebody is imminently about to do something really powerful, I think that there's a lot of value in that because that person's going to start to get hosed.
It
Right?
takes the pressure off of you.
It does, absolutely. And to a degree, the other people at the table kind of like that you're able to like expose the threats.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've played this card in Crackling Drake. Because it's nice to know in Crackling Drake when you can just delete somebody. Like, yeah, they're holding up mana, but do they actually have anything to do about it? And you're just like, tap, look at your hand and be like, oh, got it, you're dead. Okay, cool. Like, feels really good. But
I'll say this after ruminating on it for the last 5 minutes. I'll say this. I think that it's strong enough of an ability that if all it needs is one opportunity to show that it's powerful, and it'll take off like wildfire.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, somebody like, and I feel like I can see in my mind's eye the exact circumstances where it absolutely breaks a game open. Like you've got two combo players, there's like mid-range players there or an aggro player, and a person looks at him and this person's been possuming maybe and pretending like they don't have anything, like, hey, I don't have any combo cards in play, and they're just like, glasses Verza, look at your hand, and it's like, oh, it's all there. Makes it really hard to combo, so I kind of like it here. We could try it out. The only problem is that it eats up a slot, and a lot of times I want to do something different with that slot. So that's the only thing I feel like I'm running into here with that. So
yeah. I don't know if you've caught me yawning, but you probably got about
yeah, we
10 or
have
so,
limited time. See, Clay gets to bed early. Needs his beauty rest.
I wake up at 4:45 every morning.
Yep. So we got a couple of cards to round out. We got Stasis Field. I think that these auras that lock down commanders and give them defender are really good. We could even play. Calvin says just cut a land, always cut a land. No, that only works when Alex gets me like 50% of the time. But we're not gonna. I mean, we could potentially do 35. I think 35 would be perfectly fine.
Yep.
35 would be perfectly fine. Let's do that. So yeah, we will cut a land. You got me. But I think you don't always need to. Modern Age, I'm looking at it again, and this is actually not a flicker target. So, and then we have the Whirlpool Rider, which is a creature. It is also a draw. We have Deep Reefs for removal. We have the Winter Eladrin, the Man of War, the Aether Adept. We have the Air Cult Elemental, I think is going to go. Fathom Seer is not an ETB draw. And then 33. So we have 3 cards left. We have 11 counter spells, 12 removal. So this is actually like a pretty healthy amount, right? This is 23 pieces of interaction. Including like Displacing Ghostly Flicker, which are protection. I feel like I'm missing something here. I don't know why.
In the draw.
Yeah. I love this too. 25 creatures, man. So sick.
That's solid.
Yeah, it's really good. You want to have a lot of creatures in your combo decks these days because people are coming for that honey.
So it's going to sound weird, and I'm going to attract the ire of the folks in chat, but we haven't really leaned into Scare Tiller.
What other ways could we do that?
So I mean, to that end, I mean, it's the holdout settlements, the things like where we have multiple ways to tap.
We don't have network terminal, and that's a way to do it.
Yeah, and we haven't considered protection spells like Shore Up.
That's true. We do have Intervene and Confound, which are kind of doing that, and we have 11 counter spells. I'm not sure if we have room for.
No, what I'm saying is like if we're leaning into Scare Tiller and Scare Tiller tech and stuff like that, Shore Up provides hexproof and it untaps.
The question is that a spell that we're casting on Scare Tiller though? I don't know if it is. I mean, it is a thing we can do. It basically turns like Shore Up plus Scare Tiller into like a weird form of ramp.
So that you're basically exemplifying what I was actually saying. We haven't really leaned into Scare Tiller that much. I mean, so it's a bonus effect, that might happen on a regular basis. I feel like Gush is more likely to, I don't know.
Gush is kind of interesting too, because if we have Scare Tiller, we can actually we can get those lands into play right away again, right? We play one of them for turn, and then we Scare Tiller the other one from our hand. So which I kind of like. Are there other type creature enter and then it's going to be look or reveal?
Oh yeah, Alex, I agree. Like I feel what I'm saying, Dreamscape is in here. What I'm saying is we're at the floor of where Scare Tiller is decent.
Mm-hmm. We have Organ Hoarder.
Yeah, we're not exemplifying that type of we're not magnifying
super deep into it.
Yeah.
Shield Wall Sentinel is interesting. This one actually gets quite a few cards in our deck. This gets Drift of Phantasms. It gets Academy Wall.
Secret Door.
Secret Door 2. Oh my god. Okay, we do definitely play this, right? Thirst for Knowledge is interesting. We actually don't have Compulsive Research in here, which is a combo card as well, where you can draw everybody out. So this is actually, if we do payoffs here, so this is, where did it just go? Compulsive Research, draw. Deep Analysis is a payoff too. Pondering Mage is a payoff. Muldrifter is a payoff. And I know this is going to get kind of busy here, but it's okay. Whirlpool Rider is a payoff, right? You just dig and dig until, you're just looking for your thing, right?
Because I mean, you're not discarding, right? So your deck's not getting smaller.
I like Capsize in this deck too. Removal. And actually, I think we cut Aether Snipe for that.
Yeah. Solid.
Yeah. Because these ones are kind of, we have 3 creatures that just bounce other creatures. We have Seal of Removal still in the deck. I would like to test this card out. With Springleaf Drum, if you flicker Tiller, you can tap it immediately again after it enters again. This is correct. Actually, it's pretty funny. With Ghostly Flicker, you can, if you have the infinite mana and you have Springleaf Drum and Scare Tiller, you can put, because you can target the artifacts.
Let's think of this in a different way. All right, so at 35 lands, and after 10 turns, we're likely to have 8 lands, right? So 8 lands likely times 3, 24. So each person will end up milling 24 on top of whatever they already have in their graveyard.
If we do what?
If we just play normally.
Oh, so just normally. So yeah, one of the things we're forgetting here is that Ruin Crab also can win the game. Just
Yeah, so just playing normally, we can deny in the way that mass discard does, right? We can deny access to cards by putting now, yes,
sometimes
decks
we'll
will
give
have
it
to
to 'em.
play, but also like, we're ready for that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we are. And there, so the interesting thing is what's up? We got Sniff How in the chat. Welcome, friend.
What's up, buddy?
It's so funny how like you in these spaces long enough and you start to recognize the icons,
Yeah.
And Sniff How's little one-eyed anime character is pretty iconic. Yeah, Fetches and Scare Tiller, dude. This is you came in maybe a little late, my dude. We're doing some. I dare say it's rather palsish, but this deck it's no joke though. We're this is real serious like combo Ruin Crab, and
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is serious.
very
This is serious
serious,
business.
very serious. Yes, yeah. This is
So what I did here in the background is I sent Ryan a list to Alcadron's original list that gave me inspiration. I also placed my list that I built prior to announcing this to Ryan, and he'll add those 2 lists to this list in the description.
I've just
So
updated it.
that way you guys have access to all of these things, do a contrast, compare, whatever, and kind of look at, because I mean that's the thing, like it's all about gaining inspiration from other people and modifying it to your play style and
We're
doing the
all
damn thing.
standing on the shoulders of giants here when it comes to this stuff.
Absolutely.
The Iceberg Cancerix is kind of funny. I don't actually think this belongs in the deck. We have this in the command zone. We don't need
Yep.
another one.
Correct.
So I think that's okay to cut. We've got the network terminal. There's a part of me that would like to have a little bit more, but actually like 9 pieces of ramp is pretty good for a 35 land deck with a 1-mana commander. I kind of like it. So we have 6 cards to cut. There's a lot of cards we can't cut here, and there's some we can. We do like these tutors for Mystic Sanctuary. These cards are great.
Well,
yeah,
how about this? How about this?
I mean, Glass of Urza could go. We could cut. We could cut a counter spell. We could cut a removal spell. That's 3 cards.
What if we
Order.
cut? What if we? Well, I was gonna cut and replace. That's the problem.
I'm gonna cut Organ Hoarder as just a start. It's just another one of these like creature ETB payoffs. Actually, Academy Wall is a payoff too because it's. Well, no, it's not. It's not because it's only once per turn.
Yep.
But it's still a really good card, so I think we want
it. It's a good value.
Yeah.
What is the curve? Where are we sitting? Are we sitting somewhere in the?
It's great. Like the vast majority of it sits right here. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. So we need to cut a counter spell. Logic Knot is what comes to mind. Our curve is quite high. I wouldn't say that's entirely true. I mean, we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 spells that are 4 or more. And a lot of these aren't actually being used that way. So if you think about it, Shoreline Ranger and Tidal Terror are usually not a creature. They're usually a 2-mana Fine Mystic Sanctuary, right? So you can lower that curve again. Drift of Phantasms is another example. Although actually it's not. Peregrine Drake is another example. This is 5 mana, but it's free. Cloud of Fairies is free. What are some other examples here of that? Mole Drifter oftentimes is going to be 3 mana too. Behold the Multiverse is really 2 and 2. Yeah, the Cyclers, exactly. Yeah. So it's a little deceptive. I think the curve is actually quite low here, quite good. 4 more cards. I really want to test out Glass of Urza, but this is the problem I run into every single time I build.
Is it essential?
It's not essential. Neither is Seal of Removal. If we went down to 10 removal pieces, 10 counter spells, 2 flickers, that's
average.
That's 20 pieces of interaction. I agree with our one-eyed anime friend. It's the Cyclers. We do have 3 ways to find Mystic Sanctuary.
Yep.
Is that too many?
No. Tatiova has a difficult time finding it with 4.
Right.
Or 5.
It feels like Tatiova, though, is so much more interested in it than we are. Like, it's a good card in here, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think you should keep the glasses. I think we should, too. It's just, I need ideas from you all about how we're going to do that. Because I don't want to cut from ramp. I think all of these cards are very good here. Like, this one we're not cutting. Yeah. And gum up the ground, basically. Like, pass time, gum up the ground, make it hard to attack us. What about the Halo Charge Scab?
Ooh.
Well, so this is a funny one, though. This is such a good card in our deck. Because think about it this way. Like, even if Halo Charge Scab doesn't act as a get a spell back when we're... so when we need a spell, we can get it back, right? But when we're comboing off, if we have Displace, we mill everybody out. Because they've been milling cards the whole game. Right, this is like a combo card sitting in the command zone, or sitting in our deck, right? Yeah. See, this is the thing. So, I think that you're totally right, Sniffhow, and I think I might just be like, I don't know, maybe it's like a draw spell that doesn't go in. I mean, because I'll put it this way: every time I've cast Glasses, it just feels like I'm running the table, right? Like every time, it just feels like I get this perfect information every 2 turns, and I get to weaponize that information. So,
okay. So let's revisit the mana war creatures then.
We have 1, 2, 3 of them. We have 1, 2 lockdown spells. We have. Not a lot of this is instant. Curfew could potentially go. Curfew is not premium right now.
No.
It does allow us to reuse our ETBs, which is quite nice. And it's actually a big ritual with Peregrine Drake. Well, no, it's not. Well, it can be if we have High Tide, right? We could cut it.
But okay, so let's look at it. Yeah, let's look at it from the other perspective. We're at the format, the meta right now is in a premium state of ETB creature effects. So Curfew maximizes the opponent's opportunities to get back an Edict creature or
feels really hard to justify these cards right now. I'm gonna cut Curfew. I think I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut Unexplained Vision, I think.
Okay. Yeah, the big blue, baby.
This is a deck that could easily play Rush of Knowledge too. That's the thing. Because we do have a lot of our creature permanents are 5 mana, right? I kind of think that Shoreline Ranger or Tidal Terror is one of the cuts. Because we already have or it could be Expedition Map. I know that seems crazy, but I actually kind of prefer these to Expedition Map. They're actually a lot better, aren't they?
Because they're creatures.
Yeah.
I mean, they all put it to your hand, and it's 1 mana.
And this is 2 durable Trinket Mage.
Yeah.
but it's 3 mana. Alex says, I'm not a fan of the 1 mana cantrip since our commander is already taking our turn 1. I think there's actually a rationale for cutting Opt. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And then we just cut, like, I'd like to keep this.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a big draw spell,
Yeah, you need that big mid game. Yeah.
The meat.
Because that you're casting that at a time that you're prepping to stop whatever is going to happen.
Yeah, 100%. Sniff says, looking at Unexplained Visions is so expensive. It is, but this card is like
Scry 3, draw 3, 5 mana, dig 6.
I mean, because if you don't like the cards on top, you dig 6. It's nuts. Scrivener is counted twice, but this is not duplicating in the cards in the main deck. Because we're trying to find room for...
Oh, we're using tags in...
Yeah. Like if it were, if I had infinite slots, I would also put in Rush of Knowledge in here. Because we have 24 creatures, and the floor on it is draw 3 with like a Seagate Oracle, which is still the same rate as this. And it gets better with like a Pondering Mage. It gets better with a Scrivener. It gets better with a Pondering Mage, with a Muldrifter. It's not super premium. So yeah, we can get the fetch lands, although I don't see myself ever fetching the fetch lands. Right? Because like this milling here is actually like pretty incidental. Like the way I see the value of Ruin Crab is that it's like accidentally milling stuff over that people want.
Yep.
Right.
And tilting. And tilting them.
Yeah, and tilting them, right? Like you mill over, they're freed from the reel, and they're like, you like mill over their lands, and they're just like, it's great, right? And it's blocking, and really, and then the combo it enables is that if we have Ghostly Flicker, then all we need to do is flicker, make infinite mana, and then flicker a land and our Archaeomancer, right? And then we win the game on the spot, right? So it does give us an extra combo line. It gives us a nice big butt. I think if we're cutting creatures, look at how their big butt is. Bigger the better. Oh, how big their butt is. Bigger the better. I agree. Do we have anything here that just really doesn't fit? I mean, we could look at like its potential for Academy Wall. This does have kind of like the, if we're like tutoring for a defender, we're probably getting Secret Door or Drift of Phantasms, but it's such a big butt.
It's so
good.
What's it say? It
loots every time you cast an
when you cast an instant or sorcery.
And we have 31 of them.
There's no instantaneous, this is Clay and his hyper, whatever. There's no instantaneous payoff from it. I mean, you get a 0/5 immediately.
We can't kill the table with this, but I think that's also fine. We have a lot of payoffs. There's like plenty of payoffs. In fact, Capsize is still a payoff. I forgot to put that in there. Isn't if we have multiple Archaeomancers, Boomerang is a payoff too? Yeah, Whirlpool Rider does not block.
Yep.
I guess I was kind of thinking about this in the context of like, this is kind of a card that you like when you're behind a little bit, or maybe if your hand is bad. So it's playing to a scenario where things are not going well.
Yeah, I agree. Whirlpool Rider is kind of like on the edge of what we're...
It is. Let's pull that. I think that's fine. And here we are at 100 cards. Damn, we did this in under 2 hours. This is hype. Yeah. This is a $38 deck.
Because Clay needs to go to bed.
I like it. No, we had like a time constraint that we're working within, and they loved. It's a favorite quote of mine is "Creativity loves constraints." But deadlines are also good. So Scott, let's see. We had Scott said it for cutting creatures. Sniffhow. Well, yeah, it's incidental mill that accrues over time and gets better and better. But as a mill player in multiple formats, sometimes you need to push a little bit more. Yeah, I think that, and we don't have Into the Royal. But
Well, we subbed. Okay, so Into the Royal et al. Was subbed out for like the Man of War and the.
Oh, you know what though? You know what though? I think the reason why we need to swap Ifara's Dispersal with Into the Royal is because Into the Royal is a combo card. Into the Royal can be used with infinite mana to draw your deck with an Archaeomancer. So you go infinite, and then you Into the Royal your Archaeomancer over and over and over again, draw your whole deck, and then do whatever you need from there. I like that. That works there. We're not cutting Boomerang, not in a million years. Sniffhouse says, honestly, I think you should be running the Panorama fetches. I don't think we're going to do that because the mill plan, again, the mill plan is like part of the combo. It's going to incidentally screw people up, but it's not something that we're trying to actually do. Like we're not like.
So that said, there is room for experimentation.
You could.
Yeah, so anything that's built on these Let's Build series is never meant to be a final 100% list.
And they never
it's always
are.
like a 94, like
Yeah.
get you to the table, get you rolling. Now, if we find that, the incidental mill is like gangbusters and it's like driving people into madness, which
I love the idea of that.
and the panoramas aren't hurting you too much in their colorless, right?
But blue, the thing is that it's deceptive though. Being a monocolored deck, especially blue, means that you do have a lot of pips. It's very pip intensive, and I've found actually in Murmuring Mystic that like cards like Mind Stone have like caused problems for me in the past. So, I think that this is good the way it is. I like these shuffle effects that we have here. They apply a little more pressure. I mean, frankly, there might be a world where we like cut Brainstorm and cut all of the fetches. I know that's going to sound weird. The fetches also feed into Treasure Cruise, but we've already cut Logic Knot. And the reason for that, well, no, you don't, because it's Scare Tiller, right? Scare Tiller. We like the Scare Tiller thing. Yeah.
This is the one opportunity that I have found that Scare Tiller might actually be a viable line of play.
Other than Quintorius. Quintorius does a pretty damn good job of it too. And Tormod can too. Both of those decks can play Scare Tiller. We're at 100 cards. We don't really need to go any deeper into this.
Nope.
I think the next thing I want to know is if any of you all test this out, if you try it out, you come and play in the tryhard or the tryhards. Whoa, little Freudian slip there. The common connoisseurs.
Woo!
It's back, baby. So if you ever come in and you play some games in there and you take this list, what I want to know is how good was Expedition Map, how good was Shoreline Ranger, and how good was Tidal Terror? Because my intuition says that we might have one too many of those. I don't know. I just don't know, and I'm curious about that. Sniffhouse says, "Yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from, and not actively going for the mill, but just having the ability to get a mill for everyone for 3 is great." Yeah, it could be. I think the what I like about the mill card or these lands is that they're a shuffle for Brainstorm, which is weird because I don't usually like to work very hard for Brainstorm. Brainstorm has to be like just good, like I used to play like Brainstorm and 60 card is so much easier to abuse, right? But here it's like I don't necessarily know that we like stretch for it, but the Scare Tiller thing is pretty tempting because then we get to play Network Terminal. We get the Springleaf Drum, Moonsnare Prototype. There's a lot of ways to abuse it, so I kind of like it. I can foresee a lot of scenarios where that's a big deal. Juice Tiller, watch your mouth, Clay. Scare Tiller belongs everywhere. Yeah. Scare Tiller has homes, I think, in CPDH, but it's not nearly as ubiquitous as it is in every PALS deck ever made. Same with the Howling Golem and the Marching Duodrone, the Holy Trinity. But we we're blasphemers is the thing, and it's kind of the IDGAF kind of vibe. Take my money. You guys got me feeling some kind of way for Detroit. Detroit's gonna be lit, yo. It's gonna be sick. I'm pumped. Clay and I got our play mats. Clay's got these sick sleeves, some Common Connoisseur sleeves. Maybe you catch us in a good mood. Oh, you know what? Okay. Oh, you can't even show it. Oh my God, look at that. The universe is telling us they can't see it yet, Clay. They gotta wait. I gotta show you guys something else. Where is it? Because I don't have a fancy green screen, I can actually show you. Patrons who are in Detroit are gonna get something special and fancy from your boy here. And
it's more than just the tip.
It's
promise.
more than just the tip. It's the full schlong.
Thing. Yeah. The whole thing.
Yeah, all of it. And patrons are gonna get. I mean, Clay, I'll have the markers on me here, so if you all want cards signed, we can do that. I've got some nice gold markers and stuff. But patrons are going to get some iconic stuff. See this right here? That's a foil initiative card with the initiative, with our logo, hand painted onto it by me. And then on the back, we have the Common Connoisseurs, as you can see there in gold and black. And we have some other versions of it too. We have the Monarch in honor of Clay, because we know that Clay loves the Monarch. And I bought the specific Monarch cards that say, at the beginning, your draw, at the beginning, your end step. So it's the misprinted ones. So we'll have those there. I have made a lot of them. And that's because we expect more people to sign up for our Patreon. So if you too are interested in becoming a patron of the Common Connoisseurs, a connoisseur unto yourself, let me show you how you can do it. Yeah, I know you're going to go away there for a second, Clay. We will remedy that just in a moment here. There we go. And then boom, boom, like that. We got to flicker things around. Okay, so you can go to patreon.com/Common Connoisseurs, and we have 3 different tiers that you can sign up for to support us financially, all the way from $2 a month, which is basically nothing. This is less than half a cup of coffee, especially nowadays. In this economy, coffee is like $5, so this is on discount. And then we got the $5 a month here, which allows you early access to the videos. You can vote on the Let's Build. You get access to the Discord. And of course, on the $10 level with the Aficionado, this is a really, really high value tier. All the interface that you see around here, all the stuff that Clay uses when he's recording, all the stuff that I use, all these systems here, I change the name, I make it your name, and I send it to you. And let me just tell you, you don't even get that when you go through owned.gg. You still have to edit those to add your name into it. And those are $50 to $100 for a package, okay? So this is a really high value tier. It comes with all the things below it. And of course, you also get member shout outs during each video. So consider this. If you're interested in something more intense, if you're more financially liberated, or you just really care about what we're doing, Clay and I also have the Epicure and Zealot tiers here for the whales out there for $20 and $50 a month, which actually includes 1 hour per month of deck tuning, coaching, or deck building. So this is actually way discounted because I charge a lot more for my time than $50 a month plus all the other stuff. So anyways, just to throw that out there, this is a great way to do it. And of course, we're going to take this off screen so that we don't dox anybody. But I am going to take a brief moment to shout out our wonderful patrons, the people who make this all possible, and they validate that Clay and I are doing the thing that people want to see. It feels really good. I think more from an emotional standpoint, because we're a long ways off from paying the bills with
on
this
screen.
Yep. And so we've got Adgan, Jerry, Zach, Scooby, Chris, Mizu, William, Paul, Corey, Derek, Devin, Ian, Bobby, Jin Shooting Star, and our longest running patron, Noyark. So to all of you out there, all the patrons who make this possible, thank you so much for your support and for leading the way. I mean, when we I mean, just to reflect a really fascinating dynamic is that
I'm back.
yeah, there he is. Yeah, sorry. He had to go away so that I didn't dox all these people. And when I cover up one screen, it messes things up. It's just the way this works. If any of you are like really wizard with OBS, I'd love to talk with you because there's some things that I need to get worked out, you know. You know, for all the people who are doing the Patreon thing, it just feels really great. Clay and I just really love it. It's again, it's not paying the bills, but it just kind of lets us know that we're doing the right thing and that people are supporting us. And I know for me,
we do a lot of reinvestment back into
100%. The camera that I'm using right now, that comes from the dues. So we're using this as a way to improve our offering all the time. And that's the goal, is we want to deliver the finest CPDH content and really, you know, Pauper Commander content in general that we possibly can to you. And that money really helps go the distance and help us do that. And I know that for me personally, it was a huge step in my personal development to ask for it. And like day one, we got 11 patrons, which was incredible. So I know that was a massive boost to my enthusiasm, my sense of purpose, and I really appreciated it. So without harping too much more on the Patreon, you can go check it out at patreon.com. We also, one last thing, is we have inked.gaming. We have a place where you can buy playmats. So let me see if I can pull this up here. Clay's going to disappear for a second. Sorry, Clay.
Gone.
He's gone. He's gone. Inked.gaming, we have these beautiful playmats. At least I think they're pretty great looking. You can get this textured background here with the slate and our logo on it. This is another great way to support us, but also just a cool way to have a bit of our product. And you know, every year we may have something different. So that means every year might be kind of exclusive. You know, I got this hankering, this need to redesign shit all the time, which means that maybe this is only an annual thing, and having the first year of the Common Connoisseurs would be pretty insane in the membrane. So you can also get stitched edgings here. You can get play zones in there for magic, things like that. So yeah. Now with that, one last thing, make sure to let the algorithm know that you're enjoying the content as long as you were sitting around for. So if you were enjoying this and you were participating, having a good time, loving Clay with all of his insights on this, loving the fact that Clay brought this amazing commander for us to work on, make sure to leave a like. Do the free thing and leave a like to let the algorithm know other people should see it. The algorithm is the #1 thing that's going to let other people know about our content. It dwarfs all the marketing that I do by an order of magnitude, okay? And so leave that like. If you have any comments for us, leave it in the comment section or directly message Clay and I if you have any feedback that you want us to improve on. And subscribe if you want to see more of the content. Hit the bell icon if you want to get notified when Clay and I go live at unscheduled times, which is going to be an increasingly common thing. So with that, Clay, thank you so much. You're a rock star. This deck is awesome. So stoked for it. And,
I'm glad you took the bait.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I knew you would. I was like, you know, if I tell Ryan that I want him to build something, but it's secret and he's not going to know about it until the last minute, he's going to love that.
Dude, you should have seen how fast I drove home. I'm not going to say I was breaking these speed limits, but you know, your boy hit the sport mode on the Prius there. Power mode was engaged. I was switching lanes and shit to get to you guys. So yeah, with that, thank you all for being here. It was a really great time. Derpy, thanks for stopping in. And yeah, Connoisseurs of Fine Common Cardboard. Hope you have a great rest of your evening, and we'll catch you on the battlefield. Peace.